You are driving your family down a motorway. Kids in the back. Music playing. Everything is fine. Then out of nowhere a truck cuts across your lane. You slam the brakes, but it is already too late. In that single terrifying second, the only thing standing between your family and the worst moment of your life is the metal wrapped around you. So here is the question that actually matters. Which SUV keeps you alive? Not which one looks toughest in the car park. Not which one has the most impressive badge on the bonnet. Which one actually works when everything goes wrong at 60 kilometers an hour and there is nothing you can do about it. Today we are finding out. Right here, right now. We have got two of the biggest, most popular family SUVs on the planet going head to head. The Toyota Land Cruiser versus the Ford Everest. But here is the thing about brochures. They do not hit concrete walls at 64 kilometers an hour. Crash tests do. And crash test data does not lie, does not exaggerate, and does not care how beautiful the marketing campaign was. And I will tell you this right now. One of the results in this video genuinely shocked us when we started pulling the data together. You are going to want to stay until the end because the final verdict is not the one most people are expecting. The Toyota Land Cruiser has been around since 1951. That is not a typo. Over 70 years on the road. The current generation, the 300 series, launched in 2021 and it is Toyota's absolute flagship SUV. This is the one that governments put their ministers in. The one that aid organizations drive through conflict zones. The one that has built a global reputation not through advertising but through simply not dying when everything around it is falling apart. The Ford Everest is a different kind of story. The current third-generation model launched in 2022 and shares its underpinnings with the Ford Ranger, one of the best-selling vehicles on Earth. The Everest starts from around $45,000 in most markets. But here is what makes this comparison genuinely fascinating. Cheaper does not mean less safe. And the data is going to prove that in ways that will surprise you. The Toyota Land Cruiser 300 series runs a 3.3-liter twin-turbo diesel V6 producing 227 horsepower and 700 Nm of torque. Critically, it is built on Toyota's brand new TNGF platform. The Ford Everest at its top level runs a 3.0-liter turbocharged petrol V6 producing 292 horsepower. The Everest rides on Ford's T6.2 platform, the same architecture that underpins the Ranger Raptor, specifically reinforced for family SUV use. The Ford Everest was tested in 2022 and received a 5-star ANCAP rating. The Toyota Land Cruiser 300 series was also tested and also received 5 stars. So both 5 stars. Both safe. Done. Right. Not even close. The Ford Everest scored 85% for adult occupant protection, 87% for child occupant protection, 76% for vulnerable road users, and 79% for safety assist. The Land Cruiser, 82, 85, 73, and 84% respectively. Let us start with the one that matters most. The frontal crash test. Head-on and frontal collisions remain among the deadliest categories of road accident in every country that tracks this data. The offset version is actually the more dangerous scenario because the impact energy is concentrated into a much smaller area. The Land Cruiser showed marginally more A-pillar movement than the Everest in this test.
The verdict is in.
Frontal crash test goes to the Ford Everest. Narrow, but clear.
Everest. Superior safety.
Now the side impact test. In a frontal crash you have an entire engine bay absorbing energy before anything reaches you. In a side impact you have a door. That is it. The gap between a car hitting you from the side and your body is measured in centimeters, not meters. In the standard side barrier test, the Toyota Land Cruiser is exceptional. The side structure is among the best in class. Toyota has reinforced the B-pillar with ultra-high tensile steel, and the side curtain airbags deploy quickly and stay inflated long enough to protect occupants even through a secondary rollover event. Ford has fitted the Everest with a center airbag that deploys from the driver's seat bolster, preventing the driver's head from swinging violently into the passenger's space during a far-side collision. The Land Cruiser does not have a center airbag as standard across all its variants. Side impact overall. Land Cruiser wins the standard test, Everest wins the far side test. Shared honors. But the Everest's innovation in far side protection is the more forward-thinking result. The pole impact test. They drive the car sideways into a rigid vertical pole at 29 kilometers per hour. All of the impact force goes into one single concentrated point. It is designed to simulate what happens when a vehicle slides sideways into a tree, a lamppost, or a barrier edge. Pole impact test, an honest tie. Both vehicles performing at a high level where it counts most. Now the roof crush test. SUVs sit higher than regular cars. Their center of gravity is higher. That means in a severe accident they are statistically more likely to roll over. And when a vehicle rolls over at speed, the roof becomes the last line of defense between the occupants and the ground. The Toyota Land Cruiser's roof structure is outstanding in this test. The Land Cruiser's raw structural rigidity in this specific test is on another level. The Everest is solid, but the Land Cruiser carries structural authority that reflects a vehicle built for genuinely extreme environments. Roof crush test. Toyota Land Cruiser wins, and it is not particularly close. Emergency lane changes to avoid an obstacle. Swerving to miss an animal that steps onto the road at night. Taking a bend slightly too fast on a surface that turns out to be wet. These are not exotic racing scenarios. These are things that happen to ordinary drivers on ordinary roads. Higher specification Land Cruisers come with the Kinetic Dynamic Suspension System, KDSS, which actively adjusts the anti-roll bars in response to driving conditions, keeping the vehicle more planted during sudden direction changes. Active safety technology is next, and this is where the conversation shifts in an important direction. Everything we have discussed so far has been about what happens during a crash. Active safety is about what happens before one. The system's designed to detect danger and intervene before the accident ever occurs. Ford's evasive steering assist goes further than braking. If the system calculates that braking alone will not prevent the collision, it can actively provide steering torque to help guide the vehicle around the obstacle. This is a system that essentially helps you steer away from an accident that braking alone cannot avoid. The Toyota Land Cruiser comes with Toyota Safety Sense as standard, one of the most thoroughly developed and rigorously tested active safety packages in the automotive industry. And in ANCAP Safety Assist scoring, the Land Cruiser achieved 84% against the Everest 79%. Active safety technology. Toyota Land Cruiser wins on test scores. Ford Everest wins on feature innovation. The honest verdict is that both systems would save lives and both manufacturers deserve credit for what they have built here. United Nations Field Operations, international humanitarian organizations, military logistics units, and remote emergency services across multiple continents have been using Land Cruisers as their primary vehicle for decades. Not because of brand loyalty, because in the most genuinely dangerous operating environments on Earth these vehicles have consistently demonstrated the ability to protect the people inside them. The Ford Everest 2022 ANCAP results are built on testing protocols significantly more demanding than even 5 years ago. A 5-star rating in 2022 represents a higher absolute standard of safety than a 5-star rating from 2017. These are genuinely modern achievements against genuinely modern benchmarks. The top specification Everest Platinum costs somewhere in the region of $30,000 less than the entry-level Land Cruiser in the same market. That is a real and substantial gap that represents genuine money for real families making real financial decisions. You are not compromising your family's safety in any meaningful way by choosing the Everest over the Land Cruiser for normal road use. The safety gap between these two vehicles is far smaller than the price gap suggests. So who wins? After everything, every test, every score, every data point, every real-world consideration, which of these two SUVs actually wins the crash test face-off? The honest answer is that this is one of the most competitive comparisons we have ever put together. There is no blowout here. Our overall winner, the Toyota Land Cruiser, by the narrowest of margins. Its combination of superior structural performance, stronger rollover resistance, better roof crush results, and a real-world legacy built over 7 decades gives it the edge. But the Ford Everest pushed it harder than any vehicle in this class has managed in a long time. The Land Cruiser wins the face-off. The Everest wins the value argument. And your job now is deciding which of those victories matters more for your family. Hit that like button It takes 1 second and it helps this channel reach more people trying to make the same decision with real information. Drop your pick in the comments. Land Cruiser or Everest? And the off-road battle between these two is coming up next. Subscribe so you do not miss it.